A show duct taped together by broken promises and hopes and dreams. Recorded in the corner of Wade's dirty bathroom. Get ready for WMBT.
I'm drinking today in hopes that I'll somehow be able to understand these absolutely absurd laws that I'm about to share with all of you. I had to triple check them because I couldn't believe that a person in a position of legislative power could be so stupid. For example, someone in Thailand decided to make it illegal to leave your house without your knickers on. In Chico, California, detonating a nuclear device within city limits carries a $500 fine. Drunk driving in San Salvador has historically been punishable by firing squad. In Scotland, it's illegal to be drunk while in charge of a cow. And in France, it is legal to marry a dead person. This is just a glimpse of some of the batshit crazy laws on the books. And there's more coming up. I got this from Sheriff Joseph Lombardo in 2021. Basically, he hates me and he's been looking for anything to pin on me for years and, well, finally found something. Apparently, I admitted to law enforcement that I'm a heroin and cocaine user, so they decided to take my guns away. I'll explain more in Chapter 2. Most crazy laws actually start out reasonably, supposedly. Someone does something incredibly stupid, then a local council or legislator reacts and a law gets written just to make sure that doesn't happen again. The problem is that law sticks around forever. Almost every ridiculous law begins with, so Wade did a thing, or someone did, doesn't always have to be my fault. Then judges don't get to decide whether a law is stupid, only whether it's legal, and if it's on the books, it's enforceable. Most of these laws survive because no one wants to waste time or money challenging something involving cows or underwear. So I got this from Sheriff Joseph Lombardo in 2021 saying that because I admitted to one of his detectives that I use cocaine and heroin, I'm going to be penalized. Now, let me provide some context to explain how this all came about. When COVID happened and everything shut down, everyone started wearing face condoms. But me, I was one of the first and only people to call shutting down the world because of a flu insane. It wasn't a popular position at the time, but I'm not really one to conform to government instruction. I got very bored in the first couple of weeks of quarantine, so I decided to build a nightclub of sorts into my home. I figured if the world was ending, all the more reason to have a good time. So I got everything. Spotlights that lit up the clouds, strippers, 2 security gentlemen, and a strict no face condom policy. But no one showed up. Everyone was just too scared to leave their house, so I partied alone for months. However, after some time, suddenly everyone showed up because they were bored too, and my house was the only place to go. I was giving away drinks from multiple bars, powdery substances everywhere. There were strippers, little midgets, monkeys, and I even had a flamethrower we'd routinely fire off the balcony. Needless to say, my neighbors didn't like me very much, and neither did law enforcement. But there was nothing they could do because I technically wasn't breaking any laws because they hadn't been written yet to recognize COVID stuff. Also, my security had very strict instructions not to let law enforcement inside my house because if they had, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now. Tons of people frequented my house over the months that followed, and that sadly led to people robbing me. So I needed to call law enforcement for help. They came to my house with a grin, took my statement, and all they ended up doing was charging me with admitting to doing cocaine and heroin, which was not true. I did have a bag of cocaine on the counter while I was giving my statement, but written on the bag in big bold letters was Wade's fake cocaine. It was used as a prop in a video skit years before. Well, they ignored that and also decided to tack on heroin use for good measure. I mean, I'm allergic to opioids, so I don't even do that drug, but I suppose at the end of the day, it could have been worse. So I'm not really complaining. Here's a handful of my favorite stupid laws. Breaking out of prison in Germany is not a crime. Instead of punishing the escape, they punish the crimes committed during the escape. In Japan, there's a law that says you cannot be too overweight. It's called the Metabu law. It is a legal regulation about waistline measurements. Then in Australia, Victoria specifically, it's illegal to change a light bulb unless you are a licensed electrician. Now, if you're a married woman in La Paz, Bolivia, you won't be allowed to have more than one glass of wine in public because it might make you morally or socially suspect. And lastly, it's illegal to name a pig Napoleon in France, and to die in the governor's mansion in Kentucky is a crime. Not making any of this shit up, folks. In the United States, the McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit didn't create new law, but it did permanently scar corporations. One bad spill and suddenly everything came with a warning label explaining things like hot means hot. In Spain, balcony safety laws appeared after drunk tourists repeatedly tried jumping between hotel balconies. Gravity kept winning, so the government stepped in to remind people they're not Spider-Man. And in Canada, limits on paying fines in coins were introduced after protesters showed up with wheelbarrows of pennies to shut down government offices. Lawmakers almost never delete old laws. They just pile new ones on top of old ones and hope nobody notices. And many of these laws just exist because of one person having a bad day.
Wade Martin's video thingy.
Oh, God.
Don't subscribe.
UMBT.